Under the bright lights of Thursday Night Football, the Dallas Cowboys walked in looking to make a statement, and they walked out with a reality check. 44-30, the final against the Detroit Lions, and the Cowboys fall to 6-1 in the season. Nicole Hutchison here to break it all down on Cowboys Flashback. Now, this Cowboys offense, of course, never really found any rhythm. Stalled drives, penalties, inconsistencies in the run game, and a passing attack that struggled to create some explosive plays in a game that demanded some counter punches. On the defensive side of the ball, well, it was a story that kind of looked a little bit similar to the first 9 weeks of the season. Soft coverage and key downs, breakdowns in communication on the back end, and absolutely allowing Detroit to completely control all three levels. On the special teams as well, some critical missed opportunities off that blocked field goal. And the Detroit and the Cowboys coverage, a punt coverage team, allowing Detroit to start from field position, averaging at the 41. So made it a lot difficult for this Dallas Cowboys team to play some complimentary football, and Detroit absolutely dominating. Let's hear from Dak Prescott postgame.
I think guys are pissed off right now. I don't think this is any deflated moment like, oh, hands are up, we're done. You know what I mean? Like, no, like, absolutely not. I think you're going to get a team that's pissed, especially as we talked about, right? A team that's kind of changed since the bye week. This is the first time this group, to an extent, suffered this. So I hope it pisses people off the right way. We use it as fuel, and I know, starting with myself, we'll make sure we have a great week of prep for next week. I don't know who to play next. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How are you, health-wise? How are you? It looked like you took a sack there, and I think Terrence fell on your leg. How you feeling?
I'll be sore, but I'm fine. Nothing major at all. Just, yeah, you said took some hits and bumps and bruises, but I'll be completely fine.
John Schroeder with The Athletic. How did the game change from your perspective when CD went out of the game?
I mean, I can't say it changed too much. We're still behind. We still need to make plays. I mean, we started doing that. We started rallying, Flo making plays, Turp making catches, Jake making some big plays. So guys were stepping up. GP, I mean, guys were stepping up when CD went down. And I know he was hot in the time that he was in there, right? Over 100 yards and just the targets he had. And honestly, I missed him on the touchdown that we got the PI called on. Yeah, so I think guys stepped up. I mean, at the end of the day, we didn't get the win, but we got some momentum going, I think, as good as we had, honestly, when he went out, if maybe not better than when he was in there before. And that's not a one way or another. It's just guys stepped up.
And then you guys losing the turnover battle 3-0. Just why do you think that happened, and how much does that one bother you?
Yeah, you can't win a game losing not in the NFL and not against a team like that, being -3 in the turnover battle. Simple as that. Whether it be the interceptions, the fumbles. We've got to stop that. I know I've had an interception with the last 3 games or so, and then obviously 2 tonight. Who cares whose fault it is, right? The ball leaves my hands. I trust where it's going, and we've got to make plays, and we've just got to stop turning the ball over. And there's no way that if we continue to do that, turn the ball over, an interception a game, like, we're just not going to give ourselves a chance.
Yeah, Dak Prescott talking about losing in the turnover battle, a fumble, 2 interceptions, and no takeaways from the defense. Not a good formula for success whatsoever. But this offense was absolutely rattled, having a hard time to move the ball down the field. And it all started up front in the trenches. We go and hear from Tyler Smith. Also with this run game, Javonte Williams up next.
Dallas Cowboys Flashback, powered by Reliant, is brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. And by Reliant, official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Hitting the 1,000-yard rushing mark, man, that's every running back's dream, right? It's a milestone. But Thursday Night Football proved that all milestones don't always win football games. You talk about Javonte Williams finally surpassing that 1,000-yard mark for the first time in his career, the 4th Cowboy to pass 1,000 yards in their first season with the team. But this run game hardly threatened the Detroit Lions in Week 14. They had a lot of negative plays and didn't get enough push from the offensive linemen up front. This Dallas Cowboys offense was left one-dimensional in a game that demanded balance.
Yeah, I feel good. I mean, to finally reach that milestone after all the stuff that I've been through. But like you said, I wish we could have just got the win and play a little bit better, execute a little bit better on both sides, take care of the quarterback, protect the ball, and limit explosive plays on defense, I guess. Yeah, we just didn't execute today.
When you did suffer your devastating injury, you said there was a little bit of a dark period where you were kind of doubting if you could ever get back to prime. But how validating is this, though, to be able to get that milestone?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good milestone. Like I said, after all the hard work I put in and things like that, to finally reach it, it's a blessing. But I mean, I know I still got work to do. We still got a lot of games left, a lot of football left, I'd say. So we just got to keep our head down and keep going. Like Coach said, we just got to learn how to beat good teams on the road. I feel like at home we play well, but it's just something about us on the road. We got to figure it out.
Was there anything that the Lions were showing you guys on defense? I know you got to go and watch the film, but just in real time, was there anything that you saw that kind of gave you guys some trouble offensively? Or was it just you guys beating yourself?
Yeah, just execution, just like little mistakes, probably missed IDs, just things like that run through. Not pointing fingers at nobody or anything, but you just know how it's a loud atmosphere. Things get confused and stuff like that. So we just got to communicate better, execute better, and we'll be all right.
It definitely is one of those that got away from us, but when you don't play clean ball in the first half and you stay in second and long and third and long, it's going to be difficult to win football games. I mean, we're -3 turnover ratio. I feel like the opportunities that we did have to score early on, we kind of put ourselves further back than we needed to be, and they just ultimately played football and capitalized on what they could.
How do you describe the disappointment in the room after?
I mean, it's the same disappointment you have when you take any other loss. I mean, we know where we are in the season. We know that every game is a must-win game, a game that we got to dominate. And I just feel like we didn't come out and play clean enough to do that today.
Frustrating having to settle for so many field goals. I mean, Aubrey had 5. Not ideal.
I mean, for sure. And I think, it just speaks to how skilled he is to make all his field goals. But I think when we're in position to score, we're moving down the field pretty well. We just have to take advantage of that. Like, we can't have, those self-inflicted wounds, those penalties. On first down, we can't get stuffed for 1 yard. We have to have, efficient runs, 4 to 5 yards, just to stay on track. I mean, that puts Dak in a difficult position when he has to drop back so much. Ultimately, it's going to put us all in a difficult position when we have to drop back as much. So I think we just got to take advantage of our opportunities.
You guys got within 3 there. You had them a third down, and then it seemed like things just got away from you.
They're a good football team. I think our defense made stops early on, and, eventually offense is going to score. Like, obviously, when you get within 3, it's a dream for you to get that stop, but they have a dynamic rusher, they have dynamic receivers, they have a skilled O-line. So when we have our opportunities to score, when we have our opportunities to stay ahead of the sticks, we have to do that if we want to win these football games on the road.
Yeah, a lot of missed opportunities for this Cowboys offense, specifically for a run game that really struggled. 39 rushing yards in the first half, 91 total for the game. And this offense, we know, thrives on the play action, but you need a run game in order to have that success. We're going to take that and break it all down up next with George Teague.
This segment was brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. This segment is brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back into Cowboys Flashback. Nicole Hutchison alongside the one and only George Teague. And we talked about this run game, but it's, of course, be remiss to not talk about this passing attack that is ranked at the top of the NFL. And, of course, you had a CeeDee Lamb who went out the game early due to a concussion, but his 6 catches for 121 yards. Ryan Flanoy's 9 catches on 115 yards and a touchdown. Of course, it was a career day for Ryan Flanoy. But aside from those 2 guys, you had other playmakers that you needed to have some success kind of go missing in action. George Pickens. George Pickens, who leads the league in slant routes, of course, in catches and yards. You didn't get much out of him. Of course, it was a double situation, but talk about George Pickens and what you saw against the Detroit Lions.
Yep, and I was missing in action because I was sitting in the stands eating a whole lot of popcorn that game, and so I missed some of it. But I have to tell you that when we're talking about guys and do they show up or whatnot, I have to tell you just real quick that I've been in that situation where I've had games, really good ones, and then all of a sudden you get picked on a little bit. They figure out something. They figure out your tendencies. I'll never forget the Giants game where it just seemed like I could not make a tackle, right? And so in this game, Pickens, I don't know what it was, right? It seemed like he wanted to fumble the ball, couldn't catch the slant or something, but people started to figure out your tendencies, right? So let's talk about this slant, the first one, right? Okay, so he is down at the bottom, and he runs a pretty easy, simple slant route like he always runs. It's his top route that he always runs. Okay, so if you let it go, you can see he takes about 3-4 steps up. And then as he drives in, the defensive back is right there waiting on it to be able to tip the ball. So it's not anything that we hadn't seen before. It just, Nicole, after, people start seeing you do it over and over and over again, they start to jump it. So I want to show you the next one. He runs another slant a couple minutes later. So put your eyes up here this time, okay? So he actually gets into this guy because he's in a press. So that even makes, now they're saying, hey, we're going to take this slant away, right? So he gets his hands up on him, and most of the times you see him just beat the guy at the line. But he's in up on tight of him. What he does good here, he fights the ball, strong hands, has it, right? And then we're just talking about sometimes things just don't go your way. He's fighting for the extra yards, trying to get in. Boom, he's got the ball sticking out, drops it, right? Those are the things you don't want to have as a player where you're just trying to do a little bit too much too often.
Yeah, that play you should have just gotten down, right?
Yes.
But, you saw a little bit of Detroit Lions doubling him all game, right? But even the previous two games against Philly, against the Chiefs, you saw George Pickens, it don't matter who was doubling him, triple coverage, anything like that, he was a little bit stronger at the point of attack, right? And so you expected to see a little bit more of that against this physical Detroit Lions defense, but you didn't.
That's right. So it is a little bit of a letdown when that happens.
Yeah.
You're just wanting your guy to be able to do that. You saw what he could do when CeeDee Lamb wasn't in the game earlier in the year, and so we're kind of expecting that this time. But you just never know, man. It's a night game. Maybe you didn't sleep right. Maybe you didn't do something. I'm going to be the optimist a little bit on this and say we just don't want him to have that type of game again next week. We want the Pickens to come back out there and do his thing. Be Jorge. Be Jorge.
Hey. Yeah, you do, especially because now your fate is in everyone else's hands. You don't have the luxury of making sure that you do keeping everything in your control. But George Pickens, 37 yards, a tip ball into, of course, an interception and 2 offensive PI penalties. Not a good day for George Pickens, but it was just this entire offense as well. So was his defense. They had a rough day in the offense against this Detroit Lions team. We're breaking it all down up next.
This segment was brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Thursday night against the Detroit Lions for this Dallas defense, they had a chance to set the tone, but instead this Detroit offense was, of course, staying on beat. This first 2 drives, of course, you saw some positive things from this Dallas defense. They were blitzing, forcing Jared Goff to throw balls into the ground. Of course, 3rd and long situations, they put them in and holding them to a field goal and a punt, of course, the first 2 drives. So you saw this Detroit Lions team rattled a little bit, but Matt Eberflus just took his foot off the gas, saw less blitzing. You saw soft coverage on key downs, breaking down in communication on the back end. I mean, missed tackles. It all seemed a little bit similar to the first 9 weeks of the season, but it also didn't help that you had to start from the 41-yard, the Detroit Lions 41-yard line for this Dallas defense to defend from. But credit to this Detroit Lions team for staying physical, for staying multiple. This Dallas defense was just a little step slower than Thursday night.
Yeah, again, I agree with you. I thought early on, we ended up holding them in the first drive, but I thought we got great hits on them. And the one thing Jared does a really good job of, if you watch him, he'll throw the ball away at the feet of the guys and not get sacks, but we were rushing him really well. I thought they made some good adjustments. They started chipping us a lot, trying to slow down our games. And, they got the ball on the perimeter quite a bit on us, Tim, which kind of hurt us. Little dump passes out there to Jahmyr Gibbs and Javonte Williams and those guys. I thought Jared made some great throws all night. A few times we had tight coverage, and he put the ball in the one spot we couldn't make the play.
It's always going to be a little down, especially after a loss, especially after we're having so much success winning the last few weeks, and we took a loss this week. It's going to be down, but everybody accountable, man. Everybody hold each other accountable. everybody going to watch the film and get better and fix the things we need to fix. So
I know you guys, like you said, do need to go back and watch the film, but just in real time, was there anything defensively that you guys saw that they were presenting offensively that were kind of giving you guys some trouble?
Like you said, I got to watch the film. But as a defense, man, we way better than 44 points. Man, we got a great defense, got a great defensive line, and we just got to do our job to the best of our ability and execute to the best of our ability and just make more plays, especially in that defensive line room. So, because we got the ability to do it. So.
Does it make it harder with how well you all have played the last couple of games to swallow this too? Because you guys have been playing really well on the defensive side.
Yeah, anytime you lose, especially putting up the points that they put up, it's pretty hard pill to swallow. But we got the guys in the defensive room who's going to watch the film, take constructive criticism, take accountability, and never let it happen again. So it's one of those things, like you said, we got a hard pill to swallow and get it fixed quick. So,
how would you describe the disappointment in the locker room after not getting done?
Anytime you get a loss, it's pretty down, man. But the guys in the room, the guys on this team, man, like I said, going to take accountability. And when it comes to watching the film and getting better, so.
You guys have had several games in such a short period of time. How much are you guys looking forward to this mini bye to just kind of rest, recover, and kind of reset?
I can only speak for myself. I'm looking forward to watching the film and getting better, so.
And the Cowboys do have somewhat of a mini bye to get things right and cleaned up before they take on the Minnesota Vikings. But you got to be proud of at least somewhat of what the Cowboys were able to do in these last 4 games. You looked from the beginning of the season, you thought there was no way they were going to pull out any of those wins. Well, they finished 3-1. So, of course, hard pill to swallow losing to a team in the way that you did against the Detroit Lions, but there's still some positives to take away from that game. But, of course, one of the best positives, how about Brandon Aubrey being butter? That's up next here on Cowboys Flashback.
To watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. Dallas Cowboys Flashback, powered by Reliant, was brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. And by Reliant, official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
The Cowboys fall to the Detroit Lions 44-30, the final in Detroit. But the bright spot of that matchup, Brandon Aubrey continuing to be one of the most automatic things for this Dallas Cowboys team. He went 5 of 5 in field goals made, reaching his 100th field goal of his career. He also is the first kicker in NFL history to make 3+ field goals of 55+ in a single game. But the moment of the night is the 63-yard bomb that he nailed, his now 3rd field goal of 60+ yards in a season. That's the most in a single season or in history of the NFL. Wasn't enough to win the football game, but it also felt historic.
Yeah, can't control the distance you get the kick from, but sometimes you get an opportunity to kick from there, and it takes faith in you from the coaching staff and from yourself to go out there in the normal flow of the game and kick a long one. So just thankful for that faith they have in me and that I've built the trust with. But yeah, I've worked pretty hard to do to get where I'm at, and happy to be here. Just wish we would have won the game today.
How would you describe the dejection in the locker room after not being able to get it done tonight?
Yeah, I think you can feel it a lot quieter. Don't know how to put words to it, but it feels like we left one on the table there. Feel like, we'll watch the film back, but going 3 turnovers is not a recipe to win the game. So can't blame anyone but ourselves. You just gotta watch the film and correct it for next week.
You guys mathematically aren't going to get the how try to move past this, still make the most of the 75 games left.
Yeah, we've got opportunities to play games in the NFL, and if we do our part and win football games, it's not only putting ourselves in the best position to make the playoffs, but going into next year, building some momentum and some confidence in our system, our staff, our players, and then anytime you go on an NFL or professional football or professional any sport field, you need to put your best stuff out there because you're always trying out for your job.
You guys include so many games in a short period of time. How welcome is this mini bye week?
Yeah, I think it's needed. Anytime you get a chance to rest and recuperate, it's needed in a violent sport like this. So some guys will get a chance to sit down, rest, lick their wounds, and come back stronger for the next game.
And with that loss in Week 14 to the Lions, that puts the Cowboys at 6-6-1 in the season. Their 3-game win streak is absolutely now gone. And get this, if the Cowboys would have won over the Detroit Lions in Week 14, they would have went from a 10% chance to a 39% chance to making the playoffs. Now, unfortunately, with that loss, they sit at a 6% chance per next-gen stats. Now, what's the next goal? Of course, just to continue to just stack wins and hope for the best from around the league. They've got a Minnesota Vikings team up next, and Sunday Night Football is a 7:20 kick. Can the Cowboys rewrite their story?